you knowing people quite well and people that are close to you coming back from situations like that, why is it so difficult with PTSD and,
Look, obviously the exposure that some of those people in the military on deployment get to situations are things that we would only see in a movie, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then we can easily, we know we can just sit there and go, it's not real to us because it's on a movie, and we're so desensitized now to violence on movies anyway. So it's not so much of a real thing. But these guys have seen things that you probably wouldn't even put into a movie. They've lost mates. Then they come back over here. They can't talk about those exact situations purely because of secrecy stuff as well. So it's hard for them to vent, but they also come in a very male-dominated environment. So not talking about, I know there's definitely females in defence, but in those combat roles, there isn't.
Yeah.
So you're even more in that, it's like a footy club, I suppose, even more in that male-dominant environment. So for them to show weakness or talk about it makes it even harder again.
Yeah.
So I think
no one can relate on the outside world.
Nah, that's right.
If I would imagine if one of my mates was telling me about a terrible war zone and actually what happened in there, it'd fuck me up.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to really talk about it with people, with
that's it.
Civilians, I guess.
There's things that go on that you wouldn't want civilians to even know because of the judgment as well that those guys have got. Because unfortunately in war, things happen.
There's two sides.
That's exactly right. And so it's a tough place for them to be. For one, seeing it, they're just young blokes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go all the way back to the World Wars where they were literally 15 and 16-year-old boys lying about their age to go away and being exposed to this sort of stuff. It's heavy. It's heavy stuff. And and then like I said, being in that male-dominant environment, it just makes it even harder again. So I've had since doing a little bit of this FaceTime on social media. And then talking a little bit more about men's mental health, I've had 3 military guys. One's about to be medically discharged because of issues to do with it. That have reached out to me that I know, not close mates, but we're definitely acquaintances. That have basically just opened up on messages where I'm like, wow, okay. And then I feel like, am I qualified to do this, or what? Because it makes me feel like, okay, I don't have an answer for this, but I know I don't need an answer. Yeah. It's an outlet for them.
You're qualified to hear someone else.
And I've just tried to guide them into the direction so they can go and get a little bit more help. Because, I mean, I feel it's humbling for them to contact me when they've not spoken to anyone else about it, and then for me to be able to have that input, because I know how hard it is for them to come out and open up about it. So
no, that's great that you're doing that. We've had similar things in the past with the podcast, and it's I had a guy in New Zealand tell me about the fact that his wife had left him and he hadn't told anyone, and they were separated in their own house, and the kids didn't know, and none of his family friends. And I had this long back and forth with this dude, because I think people just need someone to talk to, and I think that's why. Again, we talked before the show, a third party can often be the best place to start, because they're not going to give you any judgment if they do. You don't know them anyway. You hardly know. They're not your friends
that's
and family,
right.
the closest people that you probably care about what they think. That's great. I think I remember hearing with on different podcasts and bits and pieces, people coming back from military situations, and I could totally see how this would play out. I think being in a scenario like that, everything's so you have to be in the present. Yep. There's no time to fuck around and worry about, where your bills are getting paid from the next month, and, that girl that you dated on the weekend, whether she likes you or not. It's because that's what we thrive for. That's what they talk about as the flow state or whatever, whether it's, I think, I went for a surf last Sunday with a buddy of mine, and first surf I've had in 5 years. I bought a new board and so forth a couple of months ago. I want to get back into it.
Yep.
And I fucking sucked. I looked like a total
I was just going to ask
yeah. My mate's only been surfing 3 years. He's got this big dopey, mini mal or whatever, and he was getting wave after wave after wave. And I've got this little short board, thinking I'm, didn't work out that way. But I actually think about flow state. Two of the things I think are the best for flow state that I can think of is surfing. because I was talking to Tim, my mate, about it. He's like, man, you know, because he does high stress currency trading on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
And he said, man, when I'm sitting out here talking, I'm thinking about currency. You know, we're chatting and I'm interacting with people. I'm thinking about fucking currency. You know, he goes, but when the wave comes and my eyes hit the peak, currency's out of the window. You know, and I'm on. It's the only time I'm actually on, and I'm living in the present, really. And I feel like surfing, sex, and sport. You know, they're three things that, like, you can't be having sex and be thinking about, you know, paying your bills. and if you are, you shit at sex. You know? So, but being in a war zone is the absolute epitome of that. You know, like, you're so laser focused on the present, which in this day and age with all we have going on, you know, there's not enough people that are focused on what's going on right now. That's when you're in your happiest place. And I feel like coming back, that'd be another thing that, you know, being so hyper-focused on the present and being in that flow state is, like, addictive.
Yeah.
So I'd assume
well, it is. I mean, you think that it's nearly a constant stream of adrenaline that they would have in certain situations, you know, that lasts for, you don't even know what period of time. And that's it. And you get that on the daily, and then you come back to normal life where it's quiet, there's nothing happening. Yeah, it's definitely hard to integrate back into, I suppose.